could try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. Looking for change, looking for pain, pulling a mob, pushing a train. I'll never stop, stick to a lane, pick up the pieces and go rearrange. I'll be the best above all the rest, put me to the test and expect nothing less, your check is I'm chess, what's happening next, yeah. He got the venom, a tangible weapon, no coming in second. This life is a lesson, he got a new engine from pain that's a blessing. New focus, no guessing, just bold and obsession, all in his possession. You got their attention, I'll leave an impression and take your redemption. Just kill, no discretion, your mind is a weapon. 11-11, it's time for progression, You could try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. People like sheep move feet, hurt it easy. You don't wanna be fast asleep when they see me. Better stand tall, ready for a fight, believe me. When they try the chains, you can say no, free me. So he's been looking for somebody who could save him, instead of searching inside for what they gave him. A strong will, strong mind causes mayhem. We could change the world, change times, rearrange them. Staying on pace, running the race. Life is a chase, I don't want a place, I wanna be first. Work till it hurts, dehydrated thirst till I'm in a hearse. High ambitions in the right mind can take you so far. It's like you lived a few lifetimes. Take off from a break off from the weak minds. They can stay soft, you can change lives, you create thoughts, never waste time. You got one shot, you got one life, better pop off. What do you like? Make a dream job. No 9-5, no mean boss, just my life and free thoughts. You could try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands. You could try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. Looking for change, looking for pain, pulling a mob, pushing a train. I'll never stop, stick to a lane, pick up the pieces and go rearrange. I'll be the best above all the rest, put me to the test and expect nothing less, your check is I'm chess, what's happening next, yeah. He got the venom, a tangible weapon, no coming in second. This life is a lesson, he got a new engine from pain that's a blessing. New focus, no guessing, just bold and obsession, all in his possession. You got their attention, I'll leave an impression and take your redemption. Just kill, no discretion, your mind is a weapon. 11-11, it's time for progression, You could try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. People like sheep move feet, hurt it easy. You don't wanna be fast.
What up, Finn fans? Welcome to another episode of the Finn Posse Podcast. I'm your host, Big C. This is brought to you by Game Changers Media. I'm hoping that I got my audio issues figured out. I ordered a new Focusrite box. Hopefully I got it all figured out. I hope I'm sounding all right to you all. And hopefully we won't have to deal with that anytime in the near future. Anytime in the near future. So I'm hoping that we sound all right today. Let me know, give me some feedback. But yeah. Glenn, we'll get there. Glenn, I see you're a big ball, man. You be sending them dudes so much freaking money. Oh man. Playing Washington the 11th week of the season. Hopefully the 12th week is a bye. Yeah, we're gonna get into that. Which one of the young corners do you have faith in the most? I'd probably have to say Storm Duck at the moment. I think Storm Duck showed some potential last year. We really haven't seen much from Cam Smith. Ethan Bonner, you get reports out of training camp that he looks good, but we've yet to see it on the field. So I'd have to say Storm Duck. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Glenn, Elwood, Timothy, Bonnie, Aqua. Good morning. Again, hopefully I got my audio issues figured out. I had to skip out on Shake Money last night, which I felt horrible about. I couldn't get nothing to work. I couldn't get it to work at all. Morning, Michael. Playing golf. Have a good day. Hopefully you shoot good today, Michael. Congratulations on that. I like the game of golf. I'm so used to a baseball swing that it's very hard for me to get the golf swing down. But yeah, we got a few things to talk about before we get into like this little freestyle Friday. And I just kind of really I want to get you guys' take on maybe how you see the season going, a little bit of predictions, whether you see us making the playoffs, maybe record prediction. Obviously, we're gonna still make some roster additions, roster subtractions. The schedule hasn't quite been released, so this is just a very early, just to see where your mindset is and to see how you're feeling about this team, what level of confidence you got in this team. So the first thing, let's take a look at. Today is also the start of the rookie mini camp. Now they don't practice very much in this rookie mini camp. They get measured for their helmets, their shoes, their pads. They do a bunch of class work. It's very little practice time. It's pretty much to get them integrated with the team. So the Miami Dolphins made some roster moves yesterday. The Miami Dolphins announced today that they have waived cornerback Ryan Cooper Jr., defensive tackle Neil Farrell, offensive lineman Chasen Hines, and the team also released long snapper Blake Ferguson. Blake Ferguson has been on this team for quite a while, actually. He missed most of the season last year with some kind of issue. I seen that writing on the wall. So the Miami Dolphins save a little bit of cap room releasing these guys. But yeah, nobody that I'm really surprised that they released. Maybe Neil Farrell a little bit because we drafted heavy in the draft at defensive tackle, but he's one of the few guys on this team that had some experience. So I want to give you a little background on guys that were released. Cooper Jr. He entered the NFL as an undrafted college free agent in 2024 with Baltimore, where he spent the season on the practice squad. He appeared in one game. He was signed as a reserve future contract with Seattle at the end of the 2024 season and was awarded to the Miami Dolphins off waivers on February 24th. Farrell has appeared in 19 career games in Las Vegas, Kansas City, and in Miami, totaling 15 tackles, 5 solo, 1 pass defended, and 2 tackles for loss. Not a big loss for us. Just someone that I thought we might hang on to just because he's one of the few veterans. Ferguson, he had appeared in 72 career games for the Miami Dolphins, mostly a long snapper. We had drafted him in 2020. He had totaled 8 special teams tackles, 4 solo, and 1 special teams fumble recovery. He also appeared in 2 postseason contests with the Dolphins. Ferguson entered the NFL as a 6th-round selection, 185th overall by Miami in the 2020 NFL Draft. He played collegiately at LSU, where he was a member of the 2019 National Championship team. And Hines, he spent 2 seasons as Miami's practice squad. He entered the league as a 6th-round selection. That's why I don't take much stock in the 6th round, 7th round picks. Can you find some diamonds in the rough? Yeah, but usually they're players that you never hear from or they just sit on your practice squad. The only player that they really got to replace out these guys that they released is Blake Ferguson. And I think they drafted his replacement this year. Well, they signed him out of Alabama, Neeland Hibbert, long snapper from Alabama. I think he's going to take Ferguson's spot. And if he can't cut it, there's always a chance that they bring Ferguson back. So not a huge loss. Not a huge loss. Also, We made some other roster moves. Kenneth Grant, Dolphins agreed to his rookie contract, and to be honest, uh, 7 of the Dolphins draft picks were signed. Grant Phillips, he was signed. Marshall Jr. was signed. Trader Jr. was signed. Gordon II was signed. And Ewers was signed. Biggers was signed. So those 7, Grant, Phillips, Marshall, Trader, Gordon, Ewers, and Biggers were all signed. That's a little rare that all 7 of your 8 draft picks are signed that quickly. It's a little weird that they did it that quickly, but cool. You know what I mean? It's not like they weren't going to sign them. So, I mean, I'm a little surprised that it went that quickly. But, yeah, hopefully these guys are going to be here for a long time. Out of those 7 that were signed, I could honestly see 1, 2, 3, 4, possibly 5 of them being immediate contributors this season. I can see 5 of them being contributors this season. Nah, Scotty, I'm not reading. If you could see my eyes, I'm not reading from you, brother. You just happen to say what I'm saying. I didn't even see what you said. I didn't even see what you said, Scotty. Let me go back and see. I'm not even on the page with the comments. Let's see. Commanders in Spain. We might depend on Marshall Jr. I think we'll be top 3 in rushing. Yeah, I can see that. 8 years. So are we at 90 now? I think we're at 89 after they release Armstead. After the Armstead thing becomes official, I think we're at 89 people, Scotty. Yeah, the Jake Bailey still on the team is a little surprising to me. Scotty says, I'm actually surprised we signed 7 of our 8 rookies so quickly. Yeah. See, great minds think alike. That's why. Kenneth Grant, Miami Dolphins primary logo, Miami defensive tackles, Dolphins. Grant, total 32 tackles. Also Phillips. This Big C reading my comments, laugh out loud. We just said the same exact thing. Yeah, we did. So that is because Miami had money and does not have to. Yeah, I mean, if you got the money and you're going to sign them anyway, it makes sense. It makes sense. And again, the Miami Dolphins aren't in a position where they can't create cap room if needed. The Dolphins can definitely create cap room if they need to. There's still adjustments to this roster the Miami Dolphins can make to create cap room to sign any player that they'd want to. And then other news, a little bit of a schedule leak. The Miami Dolphins will host the Washington Commanders on November 16th, week 11 in Madrid, Spain, per sources. I hate these overseas games. I hate these international games that are considered home games for us because they're not home games. That's not a home game. That's not a home game, and it's unfair. It's an unfair disadvantage. First off, a home game you ain't got to travel for. Second of all, a home game you get the fan support. You go over the Madrid, Spain, there is fans from all 32 teams there. So you don't get that fan support necessarily. You got to travel this huge distance. I just think it's a unfair disadvantage for a team to have to go over there and play. Let one of the better teams go. Let the better teams go overseas and play. First off, the better teams, the big superstar players like Pat Mahomes, Josh Allen, even the Saquon Barkley's, Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles, let them players go over there and play. Let the league's best go over and play. I mean, it'll probably draw more fans and more support anyway. But why send the teams that are already going to struggle to make the playoffs are going to it just doesn't make sense to me. I think it's an unfair advantage and I don't like it not one bit. I don't like it not one bit. Yeah, but Glenn, we're supposed to have another home game, you know what I mean? It's still taking a home game away from us. Armstead won't be processed till after June 1st. They already said that. They're spitting his dead cap. Yeah, I was just talking about getting under 90. Me personally, I don't know what other comments were made. I wasn't talking about cap relief. Oh. Yeah, I mean, it's no rush. I mean, Armstead's not coming back. Armstead also had a little. He had an interview. I want to. What was it? The Chris Sims show he was on, where he said that there was. I mean, he might have just been trying to stick up for the team, but he had said that Tyreek Hill is a very intelligent player. That there was a good chance that Tua Tagovailoa was sitting next to Tyreek when he made that list. He said there's a chance that Tyreek never has even seen uh, what's his face now? The quarterback for Tampa Bay. Jesus, drawing a blank. Baker Mayfield. He's like, I don't know if he's even seen Baker Mayfield play. He's like, that's what Tyreek does. And we all know it. If Tyreek feels the attention off of him, he's gonna find a way. He said, Teron said, Tyreek is very intelligent. He loves to mess with people. He loves to troll. And he said that it's not as big an issue with the players as everybody thinks it is. He's like, he probably talked to Tua about that list and said that he was gonna do it to mess with people. So again, sometimes I think that the fans take things out of content and make a bigger deal out of them than what they really are. We don't know what the real relationship between these players are, and we can't. We try to speak on it and guess lots of times, and we have no idea. We don't really have an idea. Absolutely, Scotty. He is absolutely like that child. You tell them not to do something, and he's going to do it just to do it. Yep, Elwood. That's who he is. That's just who he is. You know what I mean? That other team you posted had to travel too. Yeah, Glenn, they do have to travel too, but they probably still get their. I mean, if it's their year to have 9 home games, they're still gonna have their 9 home games. You know what I mean? The other team got to travel too. You're right, but they're not losing a home game over it. What up, Miller? I mean, I don't listen just because I think Tyreek Hill is very. I'm not going to speak on his level of intelligence. I think he's immature for sure. Immature for sure. As far as intelligence, I don't know. I mean, listen, he's got to be semi-intelligent. You can become a person that people don't talk about. Like people are always talking about Tyreek Hill. They always got Tyreek's name in their mouth. You know what I mean? And from a business prospect, from a business aspect, that's smart. That's smart business. It might be their Glenn. It might be their year. They'll only have 8. Don't they? Don't they go every other year from 9 to 8, 9 to 8, 9 to 8? Right? There's 17 games in a season now. Their year they have 9 home games is probably next year. So they're still not losing a home game. See, we'll only have 8 home games again next year, too. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's how it works. So Washington's not losing a home game. Yeah, and then next year they'll have 9. So Washington's not losing a home game. It is what it is. I'm just not a huge fan of it. I know eventually they're gonna send a team overseas, and I just don't know how that's gonna work. I just don't know how that's gonna work. Because that's a lot of traveling for any one team to have to do. That's a lot of traveling. And I really feel like it's gonna end up being the Jacksonville Jaguars. They end up playing overseas almost every year. I think they're really popular over there. And I think that they're the team that possibly becomes our first international team. It's getting to the point where we probably need to send Tyreek in for a head scan to see if he has CTE. Listen, that's not crazy. That's not crazy. When we had talked about Pittsburgh possibly trading for Tyreek yesterday because Chat Sports said that was a real possibility, and I was thinking about the similarities between Tyreek Hill and Antonio Brown. You know, who knows what these guys' brains look like? Who knows what they look like? Now, I think Tyreek is just a very immature person. I think he's a very immature person that has always been a troll, that's always been that type of person. So I don't know if it's necessarily CTE, but God only knows how many of these players have that. God only knows. Good morning, Shake. Yes, Scotty, I think it would be the Jags in London too. Good morning, Bonnie. I agree. I don't like the overseas games either. They never work out well for us. Hell no, they don't. The extra game was put in there for the internet. Glenn, the extra game wasn't put in there for international games. That extra game was put in there for teams to sell another week worth of tickets, for teams to sell another year of concession, another week of concessions for the NFL teams to make more money. That's why an extra week was added, not for the international games. There's no way that they're going to play one international. That'd be 16 international games a year. I don't think they're doing that. Something's wrong with him, medulla oblongata. Stop getting on X and getting trolled. Yeah, it's all about every decision the NFL makes is about money, 100%. Yeah, and that's the question. The NFL likes to shit on us as far as schedule goes. And I think we can all agree on that. You might consider me a homer, or that I'm just saying that because I'm a Dolphins fan, but the NFL does like to shit on us. It's unfair. They try to take away our home September games because it's too hot. It's too hot. It's too hot in Miami. It's unfair. But they don't have a problem sending us the Buffalo in December. They don't have a problem sending us the MetLife in December. They didn't have a problem sending us the Lambeau Field in December last year. They didn't have a problem with that. You know what I mean? They don't have no problem with that. But we can't have some home games early September. That's ridiculous. So who knows? That's pretty late for a bye week. But I think I kind of like it. I mean, I'd probably prefer our bye week, maybe week 10, maybe even week 11. But I mean, if we can get it week 12, I'm okay with. But I wouldn't be surprised if they put us on the road week 12. If they put us on the road week 12. But I kind of like the idea of having a late bye week this year because this team, their biggest Achilles heel has been injuries at the end of the season. And if we can have that extra week to get healthy, maybe it makes a slight difference. Although not guaranteeing, teams playing international are given the choice a bye after the game. We actually declined it this year because it was too early. Well, hopefully they don't decline it this time. Yeah, I mean, I just don't like the whole idea of international games. Listen, the NFL is a North American sport. I understand that they like it over there. Let them travel. Let them travel. If they want to come see a game, let them travel. I understand you're trying to create fans all over the world. You know what I mean? I understand it's a bigger merchandise sales and stuff by creating fans over in London, over in Spain. You know what I mean? I get it, and it's all about money, so it's not going to go away. Even though I don't like it, it's not going to go away. So I mean, I'll get used to it, and I'll bitch a little bit when the Miami Dolphins have to partake in it, and that's what it'll be. You know what I mean? Well, I see. Agree that the international game is a bolster the NFL globally. It hurts the domestic market for the fans that aren't financially able to go watch them. I'm not a fan of international games either. Tyreek will make some Spanish babies that are very fast. Playing soccer. They'll be running up and down them soccer fields. Running up and down them soccer fields. Yeah, they're not. I mean, they're not going anywhere. It just sucks. You know what I mean? It sucks. I mean, if we were a better franchise and we were in the position of the Kansas City Chiefs or the Philadelphia Eagles and we were winning anyway, it wouldn't be that big a deal. Uh, the NFL makes a lot of money on the NFL makes a lot of money on everything, honestly. So their TV deals, their all types of stuff. It's just the NFL is rich. They get money. They get that paper. The NFL gets that paper. That's for sure. That's for sure. That has became the American pastime. I don't is football the most popular American sport? Now I know it's more popular than baseball now and basketball now. Does that there's a lot of rednecks to go to the NASCAR game, NASCAR, and you don't have to be a redneck to be a fan of NASCAR. So if you're a NASCAR fan, don't think I'm necessarily calling you a redneck. Uh, but does it out? I know a lot of people go to the NASCAR events. Is NASCAR the number one considered sport in North America? Realignment. Talking about realignment. Just switch 5 teams. Miami to the south, Colts and north, Baltimore to the east, flop Dallas and Carolina. Yeah, I don't know if that'll ever happen. I mean, it makes sense. It makes sense. Why wouldn't Miami be in the why wouldn't Miami be in the south? Why should Miami have to Miami's a south of the United States team, southeast of the United States team. Why should until the playoffs, why should they have to play in their division in a bunch of cold games? You would think that while you're in your division, the elements would be would be around the same. You know what I mean? If you're in the same division, you would think that the elements, your home stadiums would be in the same weather climate, in the same. If you understand what I'm trying to say, I know I'm not saying it correctly. Where's NASCAR in that though, Scotty? Because NASCAR is very popular. You said football, baseball, basketball are our top three sports, but NASCAR is up there. I mean, well, we can debate that all day, you know what I mean? But I mean, it's considered a sport. It's considered NASCAR is considered a sport. And I'm not gonna lie, you gotta be some kind of athlete to be able to drive 200 miles an hour for 4 hours straight. You gotta be an athlete. That takes some real life conditioning. Is NASCAR considered a sport? What ranking is NASCAR as far as North American sports? Yeah, it's you're right. It's the fourth most popular sport in North America, ranking ahead of the. It says it's ahead of the NBA. Ranking of top sports in North America: American football, basketball, baseball, soccer, ice hockey, mixed martial arts, boxing, track and field, golf. Yeah, but yeah, yeah. I mean, listen, I'm not necessarily saying it's a, you know what I mean, just like a horse jockey. Is that, you know what I mean? Yeah, soccer is definitely the number one sport in the world. I can see in 15 years where football, American football, overtakes that though. I saw Dale Senior smoking. Yeah, I mean, there's some football players that smoke cigarettes though. I mean, there's some football players. Jay Cutler used to smoke cigarettes. But yeah, all right. So let's get into it. Obviously, and someone messaged me on in in the in the chat yesterday. After, well, they did it this morning actually. After we were talking about the George Pickens trade to Dallas, and me and you, Scotty, went back and forth about it, and we said, it didn't really make sense for Dallas to go and make that trade because Dallas, we felt, didn't really have a shot at a Super Bowl, that they weren't going to necessarily go and win that division or go to the playoffs and make any noise. And this person must have been a Dallas fan because they were not happy with that. They said if Dak Prescott's healthy, that the Dallas Cowboys are always a threat. And I think Prescott's a talented quarterback. I think he's a pretty good quarterback. Uh, but I listen. I strongly disagree with the guy. I don't think that Dallas has a shot in that division. Uh, the Washington Commanders, I think, got considerably better this offseason. Jaden Daniels is gonna He's coming into his second year after a phenomenal rookie year. I think the Washington Commanders are going to be great again. Uh, they might even be better than they were last year. I bank on them being better than they were last year when they went to the NFC Championship game. And then you got the Philadelphia Eagles, who, I think they're the creme de la creme of NFL teams right now. You go top to bottom of the Philadelphia Eagles roster, and there's not too many weak spots, if any, on this football team, from wide receiver to running back to offensive line to defensive line. Uh, Maybe the corners a little bit, but even then, you know what I mean? If I had to pick a weakest link on this team, it'd probably be the secondary. But even then, they got some good pieces. So I don't think personally that Dallas has a shot. I even think the New York Giants got better. I even think the Giants got better. So I don't think the Dallas Cowboys got a shot at finishing anything better than third place in that division. But, I've been wrong before and I'll be wrong again. I guess we'll see. Bonnie, you live out in Texas, right? So you kind of a Dallas fan too? So no sophomore slump for Daniels? I don't think so. I don't think Daniels has a sophomore slump. I think he just continues to grow. I just think he continues to grow. Hey, listen, he could have a sophomore slump. I think they added more pieces to, they went out and got Laramie Tunsil. They went out and got a Debo Samuel. They improved that offense around him. I think he's going to be fine this year. I don't think he has the same slump as the kid from Texas had, the Texans had. I don't think he has that slump. I think they come out and they have a great year. And I think they challenge the Eagles for that division. I really do. I think the Eagles end up pulling it out because of experience and, the Eagles. I don't know if there's a better team in football than the Eagles, but I think the Commanders challenge them. But I don't see Dallas in that conversation. They said that about Stroud. Yeah, CJ Stroud, though, what a lot of people don't understand, he lost a lot of weapons along the way, though. I mean, you ended up losing Stephon Diggs. You lost the other receiver to a terrible injury, an absolute terrible injury. That was sad. It was a disgusting injury. Your other wide receiver was hurt for a good portion of the season. So, I mean, a lot of his weapons were nowhere to be found last year. Daniel suffered a lot of injuries along the offensive line or the wide receiver position last year. And not to say that was the whole reason behind his struggles, but I think that had a great deal to do with it. Yeah, I don't think he's going to pull a RG3. Dallas is a decent team, and they always seem to do well against their division rivals. Yeah, I mean, we'll see, Bonnie, but I don't see it. I don't see it. I don't see it. I mean, I think Dallas should be better than they were last year. Micah Parsons was dealing with injuries last year. Obviously, Dak missing time. So I think they should be better. I think Pickens is a wild card. I think Pickens has the potential to be a top-notch number 2 receiver for him, but I think that ultimately there's just too much talent on those other two teams. There's just too much talent on the Washington Commanders and the Philadelphia Eagles. They're going to be outclassed. They're going to be outclassed. But anyway, obviously the Miami Dolphins still got to address the secondary. You know that a Jalen Ramsey trade is imminent. It is coming. It'll be here very shortly. I wouldn't be surprised if it's right on June 1st. I don't think we're getting a player back from him. I think it's going to be trade compensation. I think it's going to end up being a 5th round pick, and maybe a swap of late round picks the next year. Um, and I think he's gonna be headed back to the Rams. So the question remains what the Miami Dolphins are going to do at the cornerback position. I like Storm Duck. I think he's got some potential, but I do not like him as our number one or number two cornerback starting this year. So that leaves us either trading for a veteran player or signing one of the few that are available in free agency. The ones that are available in free agency, I'm not a huge fan on. Stephon Gilmore is 35 years old, seriously past his prime. Uh, Listen, I would have been comfortable with him coming in, maybe being our number two. There's no way that I feel comfortable with him coming in being our number one. There's no way. There's no way. Uh, you got Asante Samuel. Uh, all things are pointing towards him signing with Minnesota, and he didn't. He's the youngest one out there, but he didn't have a great year last year. Who else is available? Rasul Douglas had a down year for the Buffalo Bills. There's just not nobody that's available that I'm like, wow, he can really help our team. I mean, are they better than what we have on the roster right now? Yeah, I mean, they probably are, but nobody that I feel confident going into the season being like, yeah, they're our starters. Yeah, I feel confidence in them stopping somebody from uh, making big plays on us on a consistent basis. So, I mean, we can go by what our roster looks like now, or you can plug a couple of those players in. But do you think this team has the potential to compete for a playoff spot after the moves we've made this offseason? And obviously, you can take into account that we're going to look at it from a optimistic, glass half full type of way. So James Daniels is healthy at the beginning of the season. Um, Tyreek Hill is on this team and is healthy at the beginning of the season. Bradley Chubb and Jalen Phillips are both back and healthy at the beginning of the season. Does this team have a shot to contend for a legit shot to contend for a playoff spot? Will they be in the hunt when it's week 16, 17, 18? Elwood says absolutely. Glenn says Bradbury, but he has injured play year with ACL. Yeah, he didn't play at all last year. And then his last year that he was healthy, he wasn't very good, Glenn. He wasn't very good. Elwood says running the ball is key. Yeah, running the ball is key. Running the ball will open up the passing game. I think this offense has a real shot at getting back to being a top 10 to top 5 offense in the league. I think that Jonah and Daniels up front makes this offensive line a top 15 to top 10 unit. And I think Patrick Paul takes a step forward. Do I think he's going to be a top 12, top 10 left tackle? No, not this year. I don't think he's going to be this year. But I could see him being a top 20 the top 15 left tackle this year, and that's huge. That's huge because I think given another year, I think he can start to enter that top 10 range. So I think Patrick Paul has a fantastic year. You got Brewer at center, you got Austin Jackson at right tackle. I think this offensive line could be a top 10 unit this year. And with A-Chain back there, Wright back there, Gordon back there, I think we have a successful running attack. And I think that opens up the play actions, I just think it opens up opportunities for a deep ball. So I think this offense has great potential this year, and it just falls on whether we can stop other teams from hitting the end zone. Offense has not changed much. Depends on Weaver and his defense. Last year, his defense finished top 10 without the ends. If the offense clicks and we have a chance, regardless of what the defense does, time possession and defense gets rest. Glenn, I disagree with the offense hasn't changed much. I disagree with that assessment. You went from having a bottom, you know, 25th, 26th, 27th ranked the offensive line to a possible top 10 offensive line. You went from having no running back that could get you 1-2 yards on the team to having a big physical back. You went to not having any red zone targets to having Nick Westbrook, Akine, Andrew Armstrong, the rookie undrafted free agent. I think he's going to make an impact on this team this year. I really do. He was the number one receiver in the SEC last year. I think he can come in and go up and get some 50-50 balls. One of the best contested catch prospects coming into this draft. I think he can make an immediate difference for this team. So I don't agree that they didn't get much better. I think they got considerably better. I really do. And you still working? I do not know. What's that mean? And you still working? I do not know. What's that mean, Glenn? The question here is, why does our run game suffer? McDaniel came in as a highly talented run game coordinator. Then why have we not gotten the run game where it needs to be? Why are we a pass heavy team? It's because we can't run the ball. We didn't have the right guys up front to run the ball successfully. You got to have the right personnel. And we failed to address the offensive line. We allowed Chris Greer to laugh it off and act like it wasn't an issue, and it was a huge issue. You relied on Robert Jones and Liam Eichenberg to be your top two guards. And that led to constant failure by the running game. Glenn, absolutely the season comes down to Tua and his health. But we're looking at this from glass half full. That's what we came in here doing. This is, obviously this is a guessing game right now. This is a early prediction. We're looking at stuff glass half full right now. You got to think positive right now, for this exercise. Realistically, yeah, it depends on if Daniels is healthy, if this person's healthy, if Tua can stay healthy. But, for this exercise, I said that we're going to look at things glass half full. We're going to look at the positive side of things. Obviously, we don't know what's going to happen. Nobody does. Nobody knows what's going to happen from here, from what's today? May 12th, May 11th till September 6th when the games kick off. You know what I mean? Shit, Patrick Mahomes could tear his ACL in preseason. Nobody knows, you know what I mean? I am the person that needs to see what is going on in training camp to make judgment. I mean, even seeing what happens in training camp isn't necessarily a real life indicator of what's going to happen in the regular season. How many years is Easy E looked phenomenal in training camp and then been nowhere when the regular season comes around. How many years has Ethan Bonner looked amazing in training camp and then when the regular season comes around, nothing? You know what I mean? So that's not necessarily the end all be all. Elwood 23 Moser had 17 touchdowns, A-chain breakout. Yeah, we had a good offensive line for a good portion of that season. We had a really good offensive line that year, Elwood. Miller says, I need a quarterback to put on that 30 pounds so we can make it a full season. And I think Super Bowl is a possibility. We need the durability. I mean, Super Bowl is a stretch with the secondary, brother. The secondary is just too weak. And I don't think it's necessarily Tua could put on 60 pounds. And I don't, unless that extra weight's going around the brain, you can't guarantee him going to stay healthy. Training camp is overhyped at this point. In my opinion, there's no need to go unless your guys are going to get it together. Thing exactly, Big C. Dolphins just want to sell products at the training facility. Yeah, I mean, you can't. If that's your indicator is training camp, then yes, but you can have the offense and the defense is working overall. Yeah, again, Glenn, you use whatever indicator that you want to, and I support it. And this was just an early exercise. Obviously, this is the part of the season that, as a podcast content creator, I don't have a lot of situations that we can talk about every day. Now we can talk about how bad Tua is every day, like some people do, or we can talk about this and that every day, like some people do. Like I was just trying to do a very early assessment of this team. We don't have to take it too serious. You don't have to. Everything don't have to be precise. It is May. It's not September. Obviously, teams are going to look different. Even injuries are going to take place. You don't have to lock in an answer in May and have it be your overall answer throughout the season. It was just a fun exercise. It's bullshit. We have to play in the cold, but they don't have to play in the heat. Yeah, I mean, I agree. Black belt and tutu jitsu. Joint practices are what tell the truth. Tua gets 60 pounds with his new concussion-free helmet. Well, see, that's the thing. That's one of the major question marks going into the season, in my opinion, is that the injury that kept him out at the end of the season had nothing to do with concussions. Had nothing to do with concussions. Now do we gotta worry about this hip? Because the NFL and Miami Dolphins were very, very mum about Tua's hip injury. Nobody was trying to give information about Tua's hip injury. They didn't give us a time frame. They didn't give us a disclosure of what the hip injury really was. They didn't give us nothing. They kept it very hush hush, which is worrisome to me. Is there something wrong with the hip that he injured in college? Is there something wrong with the hip that he injured in college that they're trying to keep from us? Because that's a whole nother issue. That's a whole nother issue. That hit he took against the Texans, that was not a bad hit. It shouldn't have cost him games. A normal quarterback, that wouldn't have cost them any games. A normal quarterback would have missed no games because of that hit. But our quarterback, he's gotta miss multiple games at the most important time of the year. And it sucks. It sucks. It definitely sucks. Again, I'm a Tua fan. I think Tua has the potential to be a good quarter. I think Tua is a good quarterback. I think Tua has the potential to lead a team with a good offensive line. And, you know, the thing with Tua is you got to have a good team surrounding him. That's why there's no way that he should have got $60 million a year. And I say it over and over again that, you know, people want to compare Tua to Josh Allen, to the achievements that Patrick Mahomes and Lamar Jackson. You want to compare him to the achievements that these guys produce, but he's not the same player as those guys. He's not the same caliber player. So it's not fair. It's not a fair comparison. It's just not a fair comparison. And that's why I hate when people do it. People will sit there and tell us over and over and over again that Tua's not as good as Josh Allen. Tua's not as good as Patrick Mahomes. Tua's not as good as Lamar Jackson. And then want to, in the next breath, tell us, well, Josh Allen did this and Tua couldn't. Patrick Mahomes did this and Tua couldn't. Well, yeah, you just said how much better they are than Tua. Why is Tua supposed to be able to accomplish the same things as those players? But yeah. All right, folks, I'm going to get out of here. If any more news breaks, I'll hit you with it. Again, rookie minicamp starts today. Again, not a lot of on the field stuff will be taking place. A lot of it is taking measurements for the jersey, classes about this and that, stay away from the girls, how to spend your money, stuff of that nature. But yeah. Make sure you hit that like button for me, please. Trying to get in this new algorithm. I hope the sound was decent today. I hope it met your standards and it was enjoyable to listen to. Big D, you just literally hit the nail on the head right there. It's not a fair comparison because we don't have the caliber of quarterback. So what are we still doing with Tua then? Yeah, hey, because Tua can win. Tua can win if you surround him with the right cast. But you can't pay Tua since Tua is not the same caliber quarterback. It's not fair to pay him like Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes. It's not fair to pay him like that. That's why when Tua said the market is the market, and it became acceptable for the next quarterback that was due a contract to become the highest paid player in NFL history. I thought that was asinine. That became the norm. That should not be the norm. That should not be normal in professional football. But it seemed like that was how it was going every year. Who's up for a contract? Oh, this guy, and this guy. Well, these three are going to be the highest paid quarterbacks in the NFL after this year. And the only other way that they keep track of the list is that, let's say Patrick Mahomes, Matthew Stafford, and Jared Goff were all up for a new contract in the same year. The only way that Patrick Mahomes would make any more money than those two is Patrick would just be the last one to sign. Patrick would just wait to be the last one to be signed, and then he'd get more than them. But then the very next year, three quarterbacks that aren't nearly as good as Patrick Mahomes, Matthew Stafford, and Jared Goff come up for contracts, and just because they're the next ones up, they're surpassing their overall contract value, And it's stupid and it's not right. It's not right. If you're the 15th best quarterback in the league and that's what your stats show, that's what kind of contract I'm offering you. And if you don't like it, there's the door, because we can't win when you're the 15th best quarterback and I got to give you number one money, and we got to put a team around you to make up for your deficiencies to win a Super Bowl, because it's never going to happen. I don't want to say never. It's never going to happen, but it makes it highly more difficult for your opportunity to win a Super Bowl when your quarterback is 15th caliber quarterback, but making number one money, and you can only afford to put the same amount of talent around him as you do with Josh Allen, but Josh Allen makes up for the lack of talent around him. Tua doesn't have that superpower. You know what I mean? Tua doesn't have that superpower. But that's just my take on it. You know what I mean? That's my take. And not everybody's got to feel the same way I do. Not at all. I hope that does the audio sound better today? Does the audio sound good? Yeah, JD the Great, Grant signed his contract. 7 of our 8 rookies have signed. 7 of our 8 rookies have signed. Yep. JD the Great, you was late. We discussed all that. All right, guys. I will see you Monday. I appreciate you all. I love you all. And until Monday, you know what it is. Yeah. Fins up, baby. Fins up till we die. 100. 100. Peace.
You could try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. Looking for change, looking for pain, pulling a mob, pushing a train. I'll never stop, stick to a lane, pick up the pieces and go rearrange. I'll be the best above all the rest, put me to the test and expect nothing less, your check is I'm chess, what's happening next, yeah. He got the venom, a tangible weapon, no coming in second. This life is a lesson, he got a new engine from pain, that's a blessing. New focus, no guessing, just bold and obsession. All in his possession, you got their attention. I'll leave an impression and take your redemption. Just kill, no discretion, your mind is a weapon. 11-11, it's time for progression, You could try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. People like sheep move feet, hurt it easy. You don't wanna be fast asleep when they're scheming. Better stand tall, ready for a fight, believe me. When they try the chains, you can say no, free me. So he's been looking for somebody who could save him, instead of searching inside for what they gave him. A strong will, strong mind causes mayhem. We could change the world, change times, rearrange them. Staying on pace, running the race. Life is a chase, I don't want a place. I wanna be first, work till it hurts. Dehydrated thirst till I'm in a hearse. High ambitions and the right mind can take you so far. It's like you lived a few lifetimes. Take off from a break off from the weak minds. They can stay soft, you can change lives, you create thoughts. Never waste time, you got one shot, you got one life. Better pop off, what do you like? Make a dream job, no 9-5, no mean boss. Just my life and free thoughts. You could try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing